Diablo 4 just got some new quality of life updates as confirmed by Blizzard, plus a new interview with the devs reveals just how much story content we can expect post-launch. Plus, the Diablo 4 lore book was just teased, revealing a horrifying new enemy we can expect to battle. Let's get into this. Here's the headline right here. It goes on to say this: Diablo 4 will receive new story content every 3 months. Expect quarterly updates for Blizzard's upcoming ARPG, and it will bring new storylines associated with additional mechanics and game features. So not only is it going to be story stuff, but we're going to be getting something tied into the story that's revealing new game mechanics and features. Very interesting. So this comes from a brand new cover reveal from Game Informer, by the way. So this is very cool. It goes on to say this right here. Let me zoom it in. In Game Informer's latest cover story, Diablo 4 Associate Game Director Joe Purpura said that while he hesitates to use the word expansion, the game's post-launch quarterly updates will consist of additional story content that will be tied into the new game mechanics and features of each update. Now, updates will additionally be accompanied by a new seasonal battle pass, which will come in both free and premium forms. Blizzard has previously confirmed that the game's first season will not go live with Diablo 4 and will come sometime later. So it's not going to be like the season is right out of the gates. We'll have to wait a little bit before that happens. Furthermore, it goes on to say this: in the cover story, Blizzard revealed 2 additional effects players will have to overcome when conquering Diablo 4's in-game nightmare dungeons. One such effect will see an invincible pillar of lightning constantly chasing players throughout the dungeon, while another will add a shade that follows players and, if touched, will obscure their vision and summon additional enemies. That one actually sounds like a pain in the butt. We've seen stuff like that where you do like touch a enemy, an elite, and your vision is kind of obscured and you know that you have been afflicted. So yeah, that's going to be a thing, and it seems like it's going to be a little bit more intense than what we've already experienced within the actual beta. Now, furthermore, it goes on to say this right here. Blizzard also shared a few new details about Helltides with Game Informer, clarifying that multiple areas in the world can be affected by Helltides at once. Deadlier enemies will spawn within a Helltide's borders, of course, including remixed versions of various bosses from throughout the game. So that's cool, but I'm also, again, kind of worried about the redundancy that could happen with various bosses appearing in Helltides, as well as perhaps the dungeons, because we already know the bosses will most likely repeat in these 120 dungeons, and to have them spread out through Helltides, I hope they have some sort of different mechanics with them as well. But it is cool to note that Helltide events can be widespread all at once and be dropping in and out of the world. So I think that's a cool little detail right there. Now, also they did detail some UI improvements. So we're going to talk about this one from the most recent Wowhead interview. Check it out right here. UI improvements. Will the UI be updated with additional quality of life features before release? Now, I do actually have a further update in just a moment about this, where they actually show off what they've done. They go on to say this: there are some points that can be addressed between beta and release. Joe Shelley said the UI will not dramatically change in that period of time simply because there's not enough time. Some issues like bugs need a faster transition, and others are more complex problems, Joe Shelley added. We want the UI to be accessible to all kinds of players. There are a lot of factors we need to think about, and this was recently discovered as well, that they actually adjusted the socket size for inventory. So check it out right here. You can see to the left our brand new version where the socket size is actually bigger and you can quickly identify it with your eyeballs, as opposed to the beta version where it was much smaller and you're trying to figure out where in the world are the sockable items. But now that has been updated, and it's going to be a little bit of a quality of life adjustment that's definitely going to be improving the experience. That sort of thing that I think really does add up and matter. So I'm curious to see what else they're going to adjust in the future as well. Oh boy, check this out right here. Diablo 4 lore book reveals possible new foe with ties to an iconic boss. So yes, the lore book did reveal what is called the Maggot Queen. So yes, this is very much related to another enemy that was kind of shown off in the Diablo 4 trailers previously, as you can see right here. Looks pretty cool, looks pretty challenging, but what's the difference here between the two? So it goes on to say this right here. Zoom it in. The Maggot Queen's appearance is evocative of Durell, the Lord of Pain. The Lesser Evil was the final boss of Act 2 in Diablo 2 and is also referred to as the Maggot King. Keen-eyed players that spotted him in the gameplay trailer and beta achievements know Durell will be reappearing in Diablo 4. Given the similarities in their visual design and naming conventions, the Maggot Queen may be a powerful monster or even a mini-boss that players must contend with when battling Durell's minions. So that makes sense. And this could actually be one of those bosses or sub-bosses that appear during Helltides that you might be facing off against on occasion as well, which would actually be really, really cool. Now, if you're wanting to prep for the launch of Diablo 4, there is a really, really cool and useful build calculator tool. As you can see right here, yeah, this thing is really cool. So you can select your class, of course. There are your equipment pieces over here as well. They even have some of the aspects that you can expect that can, modify your character. But yeah, you can really get in here and plot and plan what type of builds you want to go for and fine tune it as you go. So if you want to do like a bleed build, you can go all in for that for the Barbarian, for example, and choose whatever class like Rogue. So it's very cool. And I believe you can actually go in here and save it as well, and also search out the different skills and abilities that you want to learn about or go ahead and equip, and also share your builds with friends. So this is like one of the best tools I have seen pre-launch for any game. So be sure to check it out. They continue to improve it. So yeah, I'll keep you guys updated on what actually happens with that one as well. Yeah, now it's time to go over your top comments. Remember, leave a comment down below. It can end up in a future video. So the question is this: what was my most recent video about? So let's dive into that right now. All right, so here we go. It says, wait, the devs just said what? Official new updates with new changes. Check it out. If you missed it, some new in-game details there, new improvements, and all sorts of cool stuff right there on the channel now. Anthony goes on to say this about the video: I love how it's not all instant gratification and requires time, work, and even research. I find myself more immersed in games this way. It seems very well made thus far. Very excited for the release. Yeah, the payoff can be very big once you find a really, really good build, of course. Now, Mike B says this: love the format of your videos. You're my favorite Diablo 4 news source so far. Keep it up. I'm doing my best, man. I'm going to be hunting down that news for you all, and any updates that come from Blizzard, I have you guys covered. Now, JBCKLC says this: what would be great is an in-game reward to respec, which can be obtained doing a quest line or even the main story quest. I believe that's what he says here. This would allow players to feel like they have some wiggle room after making it to the end game and find their current build just isn't cutting it. I love the idea of having an item that enables you to perhaps respec, and it's kind of maybe considered rare, and you get like that free chance to respec, but then on it might be more costly, because I know a lot of you guys actually might want it to be costly to respec. Let me know if I'm wrong about that, by the way, because you want your build to matter. You want your character to feel like this is a personality. I spent my time building this character. Yeah, it might not be perfect, but this is the character I set forth. This is the story arc of this certain class that I have created. I think that's pretty cool. On the flip side of it, respecing I found to be extremely important in the beta. So of course, if the final version of the game is anything like the beta, which I'm assuming it will be, I think a lot of you guys are going to want to be able to respec in the end game, especially. Now, Silver Streak says this: the constant complaints about the character creator boggled my mind. Diablo 4 has the best character creator of any ARPG of its style worth naming. Most of them don't even let you choose the gender of your character or class. That's right. Usually they have a set character, and guess what? Too bad, you go for it. So yeah, I think the character creator is great, but it's also cool to hear that Blizzard is in fact willing to buff the character creator after launch. That's the plan. They plan to add more stuff to the character creator to make it even more fleshed out and detailed. So I'm actually looking forward to that. But at the same time, it might be pointless because I like to armor up and see all my armor. But there is that transmog system. You have to remember the transmog system gives you even more freedom. So if you don't like to be more armored up and you want to be like a necromancer that is, you know, kind of all skinny and emo and has no chest piece on or whatever and showing off his tattoos and that sort of thing, that's where the character creator does actually matter. And yeah, so we'll see if they throw those character creator options into the battle pass eventually, if that's what they're talking about, or if they're just going to put it right in there at the base of the character creator. But anyway, there it is. Thank you all so much for watching. Stay tuned for more Diablo 4 updates and, of course, open world gaming goodness. I hope to do some other cool videos beyond Diablo, so look out for that. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you all next time. Take care.